All right, when to namespace, and this is really when and how to namespace. So if the word namespace doesn't mean anything to you, let me explain that. By namespace, what I mean is you're going to kind of section off a part of your app for specific functions or pieces. It's really an organization tool, and it just kind of helps the URLs look clean. So, for example, let's suppose that there was a specific role admin in your app for users, and you wanted admin to have the ability to do certain things like reset other user passwords, change aspects, basically edit user accounts. And so you already have a user model. Every Flask new app comes with a user model. So in order to create that namespace where you have 7 RESTful actions on the user, but all prefixed with this admin in the URL, then you just put admin in front of the controller name. So let's show this, and I have the Flask application running and this is the one that we've been working on. So we have routes that are recipes, we have routes that are shopping list. So now we are going to make a new one. So Flask make controller, and then admin user controller, and we're gonna create the 7 RESTful actions, so we have all the routes, but we don't need a model here. We don't need to explicitly express a model because admin is not a model. Admin is really an organization tool, and we already have the user model. Every Flask new application comes shipped with that. So we don't need the -- model or the -m. So we're just going to leave both of those off. And then before I run this, just so you can see I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes here or something, what I'm saying is we're going to end up with a whole new route that are admin user routes. And so that will pop in here. We'll have an admin, and actually, when I say pop in here, you're going to have admin, and then it's going to be a nested thing. So it'll be admin and then users, and you'll see the same thing in templates, and then we will see in the init that we have those routes registered. So without further ado, and then just so you see the model before I run that, you already had the user model here, but we don't have an admin user model, and we don't want one. That's not what we're going for here. All right, so let's run this and see what we get. So lots of printout, which will leave you to kind of walk through there, but I like to look at the files on disk. So model-wise, nothing changed. And that's what we wanted. That's what we expected. We have our user model, we have our recipe model, we have our shopping list model, and that's all we wanted. But route-wise, notice I have an admin, and then I have a users, and if I come in here, now this is, if you remove the word admin, you would have RESTful actions for users, to create a user and to show a user and see all the users. But by putting the admin in there, you namespaced it. So this would be a place where if you added things like middleware, you could and created a roles model, a role model, then you could do things like say, well, this user needs to be in this particular role in order to see these routes. And That's kind of outside the scope of this, what we're talking about here. Just we're actually just building out these routes for you. Okay, so there was this nesting here. Let's see how things got registered. Here's and notice it is nested, app, routes, admin, users. And so let's come down here and see how the blueprint got created. So there was a admin blueprint. So if I come up here and I notice this route is just basically empty. It's just importing that blueprint, but it's this, and then this is that nesting effect. Within here, then I register the app route admin user. So there's the admin users blueprint. So this way, if you have other aspects, other models that admin are supposed to affect, they would get nested in here. So it's kind of this nice layering effect. And in the terminal, you should have seen references on how to. Yes, so if you're wanting the edit page of user 1, then you would call it with admin user edit user ID 1. So there's that really nice nesting and naming of nestings that happen here. And then let's see, so that's the routes, the controller. So you should have an admin user controller. And in the routes, that admin user controller should have been referenced here. And sure enough, it was admin user controller. So there's admin user controller, and then there are the routes. And then in the templates, it's admin user, and then the 4 templates that we usually end up with. So templates, admin, users, and that's the only folder in here. So it just directly shows that. And then there's the 4 templates. So without further ado, let's go here. So it should not give you anything, right? That's weird that double slash is showing something. Okay, so let's come back, make sure that we have this running. All right, so let's go and look. So we have admin. So if I go to admin, there should be nothing. Good. And if I go admin users, then there's my admin user index page. Now, if I go here to users, I end up with a 404. So you have all the actions all sitting under this admin, and you would protect that, right? That's how that is designed for. That's what this is designed for. So there's the show page, there's the index page, you have your edit page, your create page, all the 7 RESTful actions. So that is namespacing. So here's a quick thing. So the reason that the namespacing worked, and let's kind of look through these different. So this is what we ended up with: admin user and then the ID, right? That's what we saw here: admin users and then the ID. Instead of, like, we don't have this, so that would be the multi-word, and that's what we saw in the prior video, how to do the multi-word. And it's because admin user is not an object, right? We don't have that. And we don't have admin 1 user 1, right? That's a 404. And then if we tried this, it should also be a 404. Okay, so good. So that we don't have either one of those. We wanted just admin. We wanted routes that look like, let's do this, admin, and then users 1. So that brings back what we have. And what Flask Commands is doing is it looks at, when we wrote this command, so bump that up. When we wrote this command, AdminUserController, it removes the word controller, and then it looks at each one of the segments. So in this case, admin and user, and it says, hey, is admin a registered model? If it is, then I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to put the IDs in. If it's not, then I'm just going to consider it a namespace. And then it goes to the next segment and does that same thing. So Flask Commands treats any non-leading, any leading non-registered segment as a namespace. So anything that is at the beginning that's not a registered model, then it treats it as a namespace. And just for complete clarity here, anything registered, I mean in the models, in the init file, these are the registered models. So if it's not in this list, then it's treating it as a namespace. All right. We'll go into more with namespaces. We'll even look at multi-word namespaces, and we'll do that in the next video.